Hey guys, I want to talk to you about something that I think is really misunderstood or perhaps put into too tight of a box. And it can often complicate things and give you the wrong answers when you really are in a position where you need to have the right answer. So, oftentimes we hear that, when things start going wrong, or if things don't seem to be working out the way you had them planned, if you felt like you were so meant to do something, but then when you start doing it, everything starts going awry, or it's not what you expected it to be, whatever it might be, it basically doesn't meet the expectations that you held, thinking that, maybe it was, I know that when I start this particular path, everything's going to fall into place. It's what I want to do. Whatever it might be, maybe the money's going to start coming in, or maybe my happiness is going to start coming in, or the right people are going to start coming in. And yes, that is true. When you're following your path, a lot of those things will happen. However, when things go awry, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're doing something wrong, or that you're on the wrong path, or that you're not where you're supposed to be. When we are taking the higher path, the path that is highest and most true to us, it is not the easy path. It is not the path that is going to be without challenges or obstacles. We are always going to find the most growth on our highest path, which means we're going to be taken out of our comfort zone, and we're going to be challenged in many ways so that we can grow. And oftentimes when we get into situations, we misperceive the way the energy is kind of happening, the way things start to work out. Maybe things aren't lining up the way you thought they were. We can often misperceive this as shit. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe this isn't what I'm supposed to do. Maybe I'm not where I'm supposed to be. But that's not always the case. And it's important to remember that just because you're on the right path doesn't mean you're not going to have challenges and obstacles to overcome. Oftentimes, we may be on the right path, but the package doesn't exactly look the way we anticipated it would look. The gift is going to be very similar and likely even better than what we imagined. However, unwrapping that gift is going to be a completely different experience. I remember when I went to Costa Rica when I started my 1-year sabbatical. I had all these envisions for my 10-day silent meditation retreat. I was so pumped for it. I was like, this is going to be the best thing ever. I'm going to be meditating in the Costa Rican jungle for 10 days, no disruptions, just thought I was going to have this most incredible experience. Now, I did have a very brief moment of elevated consciousness that has stayed with me ever since. It was definitely one of the best experiences I've ever had, but it did not come in the package that I thought it would come in. When I got there, the place that this meditation retreat was being held at, of course, the meditation retreat was free. So the grounds were beautiful, but it was not exactly what I had pictured. The dormitories were not that comfortable at all, to be quite honest. I had to shower in cold water at 4 o'clock in the morning every day. There was no hot water. And it was just not the setting that I thought it was going to be in my mind, And then, of course, my whole meditation experience was excruciating, probably 70% of the time. 70% of the time, I wanted to leave. I wanted to get the hell out of there. And I'm like, God, this is not what I expected it to be. However, it was the best thing for me. I didn't realize when I had all these glorious ideas in my mind that I'd be meditating for 10 days, 11 hours a day. I'm going to be this spiritually awoke person when I leave there. You don't think about what it takes to get to that point. You don't think about all of the difficulties, the shadow work that comes up during the meditation, the fact that you don't want to sit still, the fact that your body is hurting. All of these things were coming up. So the gift actually was better than I expected. but it came in a much different package than what I was expecting. So had I decided, you know what, I'm just going to leave, this isn't for me, this isn't what I thought it was going to be, I would have not completed what I needed to in order to move forward. So there are things along our path that don't always come in the prettiest packages, and they don't always feel so good when we're doing them. A lot of the things that are going to bring us incredible openings and gifts in our life don't always feel great in the moment when we're doing it. That's why a lot of our shadow work, when we do go diving into our healing, it sucks. It does, but the reward is that we are able to live with a lot more happiness, that we're not living in that same vibration, in that same state of mind that keeps repeating cycles of sabotage or dysfunction in relationships, whatever it might be. So I just want you guys to understand that just because something that you had planned, that you were certain was something you needed to do, experience, or this is the path you're meant to be on, just because there are challenges or obstacles that may even start as soon as you start. The ego doesn't like to be in comfort. The ego does like to be in comfort. The ego does not like to be uncomfortable. It does not want to be outside the comfort zone. You are likely changing things. You are likely putting yourself in a different scenario than you're used to. So just remember that the ego is going to try and convince you that this is all wrong and that you're not supposed to, where you're supposed to be. Now, what also could happen is that, maybe what you're doing isn't exactly what you're meant to be doing, but you needed to start it in order to understand that there's another step, or that there's a bit of a pivot that you have to make, or maybe, you needed to meet someone there who's going to help you go somewhere in a little bit of a different direction, but still like on the same path, and if you hadn't started that, you would have never met that person who would have given you this idea or given you this connection, or, opened your mind to something. So just know that there are so many reasons. We live in an infinite universe, infinite possibilities. There are so many different things at play, so many things when we really if we were to step back and take a really wide perspective of the big picture of how intricately orchestrated everything is within the universe, we really shouldn't stress about some of the smaller details or when a few little things start to go wrong. All right, guys? So I hope this is helpful for you in your own journey. If you are finding that this stuff is coming up, yes, sometimes you may need to reconsider, am I doing the right thing? But it doesn't mean you give up, and it doesn't mean that you are. Sometimes we have a tendency to put too much weight on, oh yeah, this feels good, everything's flowing, I must be doing everything right. Yeah, usually, that is a good sign of that. But don't discount the challenges and growth that do come with a very high intended path for your soul. All right. I love you guys so much. If you need any assistance on your journey, links to book sessions with me are in the description below. I'm looking forward to this upcoming podcast. And if you guys aren't already, please follow me on Instagram and TikTok. Love you so much. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll be back with you guys real soon.